Welcome everyone to Jawaras. Let's continue our discussion on securing single page applications with Spring Security. So far, we have initialized a simple Spring plus Angular project with Spring Security. We did some routing in Angular app and created our own login form to authenticate users. If you have not watched the previous video, please go ahead and watch that first. You can get the source code of all the videos in this GitHub repository. You can go to the specific branch to view only code related to that video. I will put the link to the previous video and code in the description. This is what we have done so far. If we go to localhost 8081, we see a login page because we are not authenticated yet. After entering correct username and password, we are authenticated and redirected to default empty route, which again redirects us to bank route. The routing logic is handled in Angular app. Now let's talk about what we are going to do in this video. We will fix some problems and then implement logout functionality. Let's see the first problem. We are logged in, so we should be able to transfer money from our account to another account. Let's do that. I will enter the account name here and some money here and click on transfer money button. But we are getting 401 status code. Why is that? Let's see in the request headers. We can see that we are not sending any authorization header with the request. We are using basic authentication scheme. So the backend does not create session for us and we must send authorization header with correct username and password. We can do that by creating HTTP interceptor, which will intercept all requests and add an authorization header if the user is logged in. To do that, we need to store username and password in the application, which is not a good choice. The other solution is that we can force the backend server to maintain the session for the user. This is a good choice and we are going to do that. For that, let's go to security configuration class. And here we will change the session creation policy for HTTP always. So session management, session, session log, session creation policy, session creation policy log always. So that is going to try to create a session. Tap again. Reopen the private window in Firefox and go to localhost 8081. Now we see username and password field. Enter the correct username, password. Now we are able to sign in. Let's add some account name here. The money, click on transfer money button and we see status code is 200. If you go to the previous request, which is user, we are sending authorization header here and in the response we are getting a session ID cookie. And in the next request, we are sending the same cookie to the server and server is able to recognize the user and it allows users to access the protected resources because this time backend server is maintaining the session for the user. So we have solved the first problem. Now let's look at the second problem, which is related to the CSRF token. Now let's click on the transfer money post button and we see a status code of 403. And why is that? We get a 403 status code. This is because we are not sending any CSRF token in post request and Spring Security by default implements CSRF protection. There are two ways to solve the problem. First, we can disable CSRF protection in Spring Security configuration, which we have done in a previous video, but that is not a recommended option. Second way to solve the problem is to send CSRF token with every post request. To send the CSRF token, we need to get the CSRF token from the backend first. How we are going to solve that, we can understand by this image. So in this image, whenever Angular app will make a request to Spring backend, let's say get user request, then the Spring Security will send a cookie called XSRF token. Let's say its value is ABCD and this should be HTTP only equal to false. Now whenever Angular sees this cookie, then it will send the value of that cookie in request header with the key X-XSRF-token in all subsequent requests. And whenever Spring Security sees this request header called X-XSRF-token, it will treat it as a CSRF token and it will match that token with this token which it already sent in the cookie. And since they both are same, so it will not throw X CSRF error. Now let's go and configure Spring Security to include CSRF token in cookies. Let's go to security configuration class. Chain another method to HTTP security called CSRF and configure CSRF to use cookie CSRF token repository. CSRF dot CSRF token repository and we want to send the CSRF token in cookie CSRF token repository and it should be HTTP only false. Otherwise Angular won't be able to read the cookie and it won't be able to send the cookie and request header with HTTP only false. That should work. Let's test that. Restart the Spring app and open new private window. Go to localhost. Let's open the network tab. Put username and password. And let's enter some account amount and click on transfer money post. We are still getting 403 error. This solution used to work before Spring Security 6.0, but now we need additional configuration which can be found in this documentation here. I will put the link in the description so you can go ahead and read more about it. But for now I will simply copy and paste the configuration to our app. I will copy these two classes and I will put them in the security configuration file. And let's import everything. We need to have some more configuration here. This one, CSRF token request handler. Dot CSRF token request handler, and the value will be this new class SPA handler. And after that we need to add another filter, add filter after. This new CSRF cookie filter, and I will put this filter after authorization filter dot class. So this CSRF cookie filter will be applied after authorization filter. What this will do is it will retrieve the value of CSRF token and it will put it in the cookie value of response. Now let's restart the server and test it again. Open a new private window in Firefox. Go to localhost 8081 and let's open the network tab. Enter username and password. Now if you see in the request header we are sending authorization header. We are sending some cookie, JSON ID and XSRF token as well. But server is sending some other value for the same cookie, so the values will be overridden. So it's sending one cookie called session ID, another cookie called XSRF token. And in a subsequent request, we will send the value of this cookie in request. So let's see that. Let's enter account amount and click on transfer money post. Now if you see the request header, we are sending a request header called X-XSRF token, and its value is the same which we received in the previous request. This one D471, and here also D471. So by seeing this value for X-XSRF token header, Spring Security is able to recognize the CSRF token. We have solved two problems. Now let's implement logout functionality in the app. Let's put the logout button next to this login button only. Go to app.component.html, and I will copy this login link. Instead of li, it will be button. Sorry, not this one. Instead of a tag, it will be a button. And we won't have this one. We want a router link as well. We want a click handler, and the method name we can say anything. Let's say logout, and let's create logout method in app.component.ts. Logout, it won't return anything. So how to implement logout functionality? So it's very simple. Spring Security already provides us an endpoint to log out the user. It's called logout. So whenever we send any post request to logout endpoint, Spring Security will log the user out, and it will clear all the sessions and cookies for the user. Let's do that. We can use HTTP client to send the request. Let's do that. This dot HTTP dot. We need to send a post request to logout endpoint. We don't need to send any data. Then we can subscribe. And after getting the response, we will just redirect the user to login page. And we can do that by this dot router dot navigate by URL and login. Or even we can redirect to home page, and home page will again redirect to login page because we are not logged in. But before that, we need to, in the app service, there was a boolean variable called authenticated, so we need to make that false. So this dot app service dot authenticated will be false, and then we will go to home page, and it will see that we are not authenticated, so it will redirect us to login page. So now that's done. Go to terminal. So since Angular is rebuilding in watch mode, so it has been rebuilt again after making some changes. Now let's open this private window again. Go to localhost, and let's inspect. Let's open network tab, Javarus, pass, and let's try to send some money. And let's say this one, transfer money post, it's working. And money get is also working. Before go to change the text to logout. So here it is login only. Let's say logout. It has been saved. So let's run that again. Okay. So we are already logged in because our session is being managed by server. Let's again open the inspect. Go to network. Click on logout, and you can see we are able to log out. Yeah. And in the bank page, we can see login to continue. If we click on logout again, we see error. because we are not logged in, so we cannot log out. So that's how the logout work. That's all for this video. We have fixed two problems, one related to session management and second related to CSRF token. And we have implemented logout functionality in the app. We will add more things in the next video. Thank you everyone for watching the video. Please like, share and subscribe.